One of the main things to write a good suite of tests for your code base is to have a good testing framework, and Assertion is one of them. Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome back to the channel. Always with Younes Charfaoui. In this video, we are going to explore one of the cool libraries about Assertion in Kotlin, which is called Strikt. Let's get started. So we are going to explore many things about this library. First, why I like this library specifically, and how to do the day-to-day testing thing with this library. So let's get started. So first of all, what makes a good assertion library? Well, at least in my point of view, well, three main things. So the first thing is the ability to read well in the test, like how much it is expressive in the test. So this one of the first criteria, like when I read the test, I understand clearly what is happening. The second thing is how good the failure is expressed. Like, can I pinpoint directly what was the issue when the test didn't pass? This is also a cool characteristic about testing framework in general and the assertion framework specifically. And finally, how much it is extensible. Like, can I add my assertion easily to that framework so I can express other assertion if they are not part of the framework, of course? How can I express it easily and efficiently? So all of these three things are expressed well in Strikt. We are going to see them in detail. So first thing, in order to add it, you'd go to your, I'm using here just simple IntelliJ project, but this can be implemented in Android, everything. Here's what you need to do. You need to add this library and Maven Central. So first, before that, here's the library documentation, right? It's called Strikt, okay, for Kotlin, of course. And they are doing a bunch of examples here. This is documentation. Documentation is so good. And here is the repository. And the beauty is that it provides many other modules, such as Strikt for Arrow, Strikt for Gradle, Strikt for JVM, for Mock, for Spring. I think they support Spring 3. So it is very, very cool library that supports many things. And it has not so much stuff. And as I told you, this is the documentation. So here is how you add it. So I'm going just to write simple tests here. They are not necessarily good production tests, but just to show you how the framework works. So first thing, it's built on concept called assert builders. Let's have a simple test. The beauty is that you will get a method called expect. Okay, there is expect catching, does not throw that. Like the main thing is expect that. Okay, if you notice something, if you click on it, of course, you will see it is returning something called assert builders. Like this is important. This is the backbone of the API. All right, using that type, it will give you other hints on how to use it. For example, let's pretend we have a string. This is the subject I'm getting, Younes. Like based on that string, I will be able to call other assertion stuff. Of course, you will get specific things like is equal to, like if you press just is, you will see many things, but you will get specific things to the string itself. Because, for example, is empty, like this is for string. This is for is blank for string. Like is like think there is start with, like you will get specific things for that string. If I change it with 1, for example, I won't be able to get start. I will get something specific to that end. For example, I don't know what is specific to that end. For example, is greater than, for example, this specific to end. Like if I do 2, this test will fail. So this is the idea, like you will get something related to that thing, which is an assertion builder, and its type, as I told you, is assert builder with a T. Right? So one of the cool things you can do with this thing is that you can chain assertions. So let's say I'm having 3, 4, 5 stuff. I can chain them. Like I can do other stuff. For example, is less than. And I can keep adding assertion while doing this kind of chaining, which is a very cool thing actually. Now, this is not the same as having this kind of assert equal, assert true, false. Like many people don't like that, but this chaining makes the test much, much readable, of course. Okay, well, there is this style if you want to chain, and there is the other style, which is you can do expect, and then you can do the following. Okay, and here, if you choose this style, you need to do another that is here, for example, and then you can tell it like this string is not empty, for example. One of the things you can assert completely other stuff, like that another thing, for example, this, for example, is, I don't know, not equal to 10, for example, and then you can run those tests. One of the cool things is that if it fails, let's say if it fails, it's not equal to 55, for example, if it fails, it will tell you, it will pinpoint directly to that. For example, expect that string is not empty, it's fine, it is passing. But this one is not passing. It will tell you like it's not passing. This is a cool thing. It tells you exactly what is going wrong. Well, if you have different subject to test, right, which is, I don't recommend, always try to keep your test for specific subject, unless you have specific case, like for example, you are checking if the view model doesn't have any other event and that the result is something, but generally this is what they call it, one assert per test. It doesn't mean that you are simply calling one assert, it means you are asserting one kind of criteria per test. You can even do it like here in the that, or you can expect that like the following, and then pass your start here, and then you can start doing many things here. For example, is not empty and has, for example, length of 1 to 5, I think, right? And for example, you can keep doing whatever you like about this test. Is not blank, for example, I don't know, and something like that. And if I run it right now, it should pass actually. If I do it, if it is blank, it shouldn't pass, and it should tell me exactly which one caused the thing. Exactly. Passing, this one isn't passing, right? This is the beauty. And even it will tell me like if I pass the wrong parameter, to tell you because 7 does not equal 7. It will tell me like 5 does not equal 7. Exactly. Here, as I told you, found 5, it was 7. This is the cool thing. It really pinpoint directly to what was the issue, which is a cool thing I like about the library. So this is the basic idea. And the main thing is that you are getting assertion based on the type. Like here, if I pass 5, all of this function won't be available for me. All right. So just make sure that you are getting the right type. And here come one concept called narrow, right? For example, this is, of course, based on the test. Let's prepare having a subject, and it is type of nullable any. And I know it is string actually, okay? So if I do subject, I won't be able to have this thing. So let me do it that way. What I can do, I can narrow it. For example, is not null. If I do is not null, right? I'm getting assertion based on not null. Like you can see it is any here. Let me show you. But it is working on any. Like if I did that here, I will be working on any nullable any. It's not the same, right? So it kind of narrow the scope. Even if I want, for example, test the scope, for example, is a string, what I will be getting right now, see, it is giving me that thing. It's assertion builder of string. So I can narrow down the type and the different assertion I can have. For example, now I can do, for example, is blank, for example, and this test won't pass, of course. Okay, it will tell me like, this is fine, but this is not fine. Okay, so this is one cool thing about the library. Now, another fantastic stuff, which is the ability to handle collection. Let's say I'm having persons, for example, and it is simple list of persons. So let's say I'm having this person. Like when I do this person list, okay, now I can do many things related just to collections. Like I can do many things. Okay, first of thing, I forgot to describe that. There is something function called describe as, which allow you to kind of describe what is this assertion is all about, like all of that chain. And it will tell you here that the description for the assertion, like which is a cool thing actually about the test. Whenever you see the test, read the test, when they are executing, you understand well what is happening under the hood. Now, the cool thing, as I told you about collection, is that there are specific things. For example, I can have contain exactly var arg elements, right? And I can check, for example, units that contain this one, and so on. Okay, not only that, contain sequence, contain at least this element. For example, if I do this contain, it should work. If I do something that's not part of this one, Gmail A like that, this wouldn't work. And it will tell you exactly, this is the thing, here's the list, does not contain Gmail A, okay? This cool thing actually. There are many things related to collections. There is count, does not contain, element add, filter, you can do, yeah, there is one other cool thing. Let's say you are having a class called student and I have a list of students, right? I can start asserting that this one has this thing, for example, has a size, a specific thing. What I can do directly is that I can here map directly what I want to assert. For example, I want to assert something related to the age. I can take, for example, this one and do age. And here I will get a list of age that I can do specific assertion, right? For example, I can get this one is sorted. I can get with element at, like I can get really specific things related to iterable end, right? And I can perform stuff directly to that, which is a cool thing. Other than that, there is function called all. Exactly. I can assert that all of the things that I get from the list, for example, age has specific thing. I can say, for example, like this will be an assertion builder of an int, of course, is, for example, greater than something. For example, greater than 20, for example, and for example, is less than 30, for example, as you can notice here. So this is one beautiful thing. Actually, it's not passing. Here is one thing. Okay, yeah, exactly, it's not passing. So this greater or equal, actually, greater than or equal to 20, because there is a 20 here. And see, like, this is the beauty. It's telling me for 20, it didn't pass. For the other thing, it passed all, which is very, very powerful thing. Okay, now it is passing, as you can see, and you can here notice, like, there is this all. It means like all the element in that list should pass all of those stuff. If I want any, for example, there isn't any, which is a cool thing. Like, at least one of those should pass, for example. And I think one, there is one, which means only one should pass. Like, this test shouldn't pass because all of them are passing. Like, all of them are passing, which is problematic. Like, we need exactly one element that matches the following. Yeah, but I think you get the idea. So there is all, any, and one. Yeah, all, any, and one. This is the main thing to the collection. Like, I suggest exploring the API to see what you are having there, but this is the main idea about collection. It allows you to do many specific stuff to collection, such as this one, all, and also this mapping. All right, now, one thing we often do also, which is to catch exception. Like, I want to know that this function is producing an exception. So usually there is a function called expect throws, this one, and I will tell that it should throw illegal argument exception, and I can pass a function here and it should throw that, right? There is this expect throws. There is also expect catching, but this one is a little bit different. Like, you will pass the function here. Let's say I have a function as out, for example. This is a function, and because I'm catching, I can do the following. I can assert that it is a failure, right? Which means I can also assert that it is success. For example, I want to know that this function does not throw anything, which means you should assert this one is success. If I want to assert specific things as failure, like this one will catch any failure. Like, if there is any failure, it will tell you, yes, there was failure. If there isn't any failure, it will fail, all right? Or you can also, I think you can narrow down to is A. Yeah, is A is your teammate. Yeah, it will allow you to do something like that. So we are expecting catching this one is a failure, and also it is a legal argument exception. You can do it by the other way around, so it is of course up to you here. So this is kind of one of the main things I like about it. The next thing is that it allows you to add your assertions easily, right? So let's pretend that I'm going to write my own function in order to assert specific thing. It is pretty simple actually. For example, let's write a function that check if the string is digit only or has a digit. I don't know if there is something like that at the moment. Let's see that string. Let's do that. And let's pretend we don't have this digit only. We don't have this function. So I want this one to fail for me, right? I want this to fail only like that. If it contains all digits, it will pass. Otherwise, it won't pass. So what you do the following. You build it as an extension function for that specific type, which is, for example, our string. We do the following, which is assertion, this one, dot builder. And here I will tell you the type. In my case, it is string, right? And I will tell it like it is the function, which is a function, digits only, right? And this one, as you can see, it's working. Now I need to assert that. Actually, there is a function for them, like you can do this one directly. You can do assert, like this is the assert function they do have. And here you can describe like the test. You can call it is digits only like that. And then we can provide how we are going to assert it. So here is what you are going to get. Let me do that in one simple line like that. What you will get here a string, the it. Here you need to write your logic on how to assert that behavior. And after that, you can do one of two things. You can fail, for example, or you can pass, like two functions, all right? Which make really writing assertion very, very simple, all right? So how we are going to do it? Actually, I think can do it like that, and this it is a character. I think can do is digit, which means this one. Yeah, which means exactly if this returns true, right, is all digits, something like that, right? What I can do if is digits, then pass, else, fail. That's it. Now, if I run it, this test should fail. And here it give me something, right? Give me expecting x is digit only. This is x, it's not passing, this is digit only, right? Here I can provide even y. I can provide a description, so it can write a good description, but let's try to pass it so I know that I wrote a good test, or good assertion, sorry, exactly it is passing. So this is the beauty about this library. It allows me to add such an assertion in an easy manner, especially if you have a big code base and you are asserting the same thing over and over. This represents a great opportunity. Well, I know you can write it in other frameworks, also JUnit, for example, JUnit 5, I don't know, JUnit 4, code test, like many things. This one is very, very amazing. I really like it. Previously, I was working with Truth. Truth also is very good, like from Google, very good library for assertion. Like I'm still using it in some of the projects, but this library, like it has many, many cool things that I really like. So of course, just try it, introduce it to your team. Maybe you can start using it. And from there, you can develop your own approaches. Still, the library contains many things you can perform, such as, for example, if you're exactly this one, traversing assertion, like a lot of times you are going to do that thing. Well, of course, you can do it in that manner, but sometimes you can get the object in order to perform assertion. Like, let's take an example. For example, our student. Let's pretend we have student, and let's try to assert something about the student properties. Like, if you try to do that, for example, let's say you just want to do it, for example, is like you can't just do is something because this is related to string. But what you want something specific to the name or the age, how you can access those properties. There is a function called get, and here in the get, it will give you this, like this one represents student. What you can do here, you can do the name, and based on that name, you can start doing your assertion on that string. For example, is digit only, for example. This our property, for example, or any other thing. It's not blank, for example. And you can keep chaining other stuff. For example, it's not empty like almost all things. And the beauty is that at the same time, you can get the other thing, which is the age. I think you have, like, you can do it like that, the age, or you can create a function that accesses the student like that, student dot dot and age. This will get us the age, and from there you can do all the operation related to ends. For example, is greater than or is less than. For example, greater than, for example, 30. So this test will fail, of course. It will fail in that case. It will tell me, like, this is the beauty, value of property age is greater than 30, right? But it didn't get me that 25. It should get me that 25 actually. I don't know why it didn't get it. Maybe because it's not lambda. Sometimes lambda different in some manner. So I will do age like that. It should be the same. Let's see. Okay, it's the same. Doesn't matter. So that's the idea of this traversing the object. And when anything exists in the documentation, check the documentation. And something exactly related to performance. Exactly, they are using that the performance, it's much better to do get with property method reference. Like, you can read the documentation, contain many cool things. Like, even if you are using many of this kind of thing, you can extract them to some couple of helpers that will help you later on, like this name and year of birth, since it is in that context. Right, it is in that context here. To person is extensible property. You can directly get access to and perform assertion related to that string or int. Okay, I think we covered almost everything related to the library, but this is the idea just to introduce you to the library so you can try it out and see how you can go from there. That's all I have for this video. Thanks a lot for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and always see you in the next videos. Salam alaikum.